Dr. Mel.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
I had a few minutes at home, so I thought I'd accept your invitation.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited today. I want to talk about self-quarantining as a single mom, single working mom, single working homeschooling mom. I can't even begin to fathom what you're experiencing.
I think as you graze over social media, you see that every household has its own set of problems,
right.
Whether it's obtaining the everyday necessities or being an essential worker and braving the front lines. Or maybe you have the blessing of being a 2-income household with a mom and a dad and the kids, but
right.
those still have their own set of problems as well, right? So the only silo I can talk to is the single momming. And of course, it has its ups and downs. I will say, during this time, it's actually what has saved my mental well-being. Having the structure and discipline and just daily regimen of having a child and homeschooling has actually been really good for someone like me who's used to traveling and being on the road so much for work.
Right.
This has been a blessing. Yes. There has been so much blessing. So complete blessing. We'll start with, being a mom. I have one child who's in 5th grade, and turns out I'm really good at dividing fractions. Thank God. So
that is way better than me because I still count on my fingers. I do.
Mm-hmm. Carry the 2.
5, 6, 7, 12, 14.
Yeah. So, right. So that part of it's been good. I've enjoyed the homeschooling. We've created this great schedule, lots of breaks. That's the key. Right. And making it fun. So the blessing, homeschooling is going really well.
What have been some of the challenges that you faced and had to work through as far as being a stay-at-home mom right now and working by yourself?
Yeah. So this is my home studio setup that we're in right now. I've got my lights and my computer because I do live broadcasting from my dining room. So that's a blessing and a misfortune, right? Blessing, I'm getting paid to work from home. I'm able to manage this time and still have some income, something a lot of people are struggling with right now. So the blessing of being able to do all of that. But right now, my little dog and my son are in my room watching television, waiting here while mommy's on television. I think what a lot of people are suffering from is not exclusive to single moms. I do have to share him with his dad sometimes. Although I'm a smother mother, as you know, Dr. Mel, and I hog him.
You're a good smother mother.
I hog him most of the time. But, there are those 1 or 2 nights he'll go and spend the night with dad. And, there's loneliness there, right? Yeah. So a lot of single moms can relate to that even when it's not global pandemic time, when you're not with your children, you're alone with yourself. Yeah. And right now we're not going out with friends. We're certainly not going on dates. So that quiet time is a little bit difficult for me, and I'm sure a lot of people.
Dating. What in the world? What are the single people doing as far as dating goes that are managing a home and work?
I would love to know what the single people are doing. I'm guessing a whole lot of nothing like me. If there's some cool underground society I need to find out about, hit me up. But right now, I went into this shelter in place without a boyfriend and not dating. So my status quo remains the same.
Yeah.
But I intend to not say no to any invitations when I'm out of here. So if you want to date,
y'all listening? All you single guys, y'all listening? Amy is available, but I'm gonna have to approve. So you have to be a really good guy.
You should probably go on a date with him first for me and do the pre-interview.
You know what? Let's do an interview process. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, right. And that's the cool thing about virtual dating right now, right? So if you were to somehow happen upon someone, you can connect in non-physical ways first, which is not always the case, right?
I didn't say it. You said it.
So this is a good way to force the other senses to work and to learn about somebody.
Yes. Okay, so one thing that my mom told me, I think I've shared this with you, was there's a certain culture where they wait for the man's heart to soften before they give their heart to them. So I think this is a good way to get to know one another, like you said, without maybe getting other things involved that might distract us or maybe disillusion us sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you talk? Now I want to interview you. Can you talk more about that? So what is the strategy? How do you know when you are safe to give your heart and when a man's heart is softened?
Obviously, trust is so important. And I think that you watch and you listen and you see how things play out. But the less we get our rose-colored glasses on, the less that we are disillusioned by we want them to be. The more we can come in with open eyes. Sometimes that's hard when we have infatuation, or maybe we just don't want to be alone. And so we're settling sometimes for someone that might not be the best for us.
I might throw my name in that hat. I think I've done those things before, more than once.
Well, you know what? I think we all probably have. It's hard when you find someone that you might have a crush on, but they might not treat you the right way. It's hard to not go, you know what, it's no big deal. I'll just go ahead and hang out with him or her and move on. And sometimes that's hard because then we get our hearts involved, right?
Right, exactly. And to kind of talk about we're talking about the pandemic and sheltering at home and being a single mom. I've overcorrected over the years of not having men around my child and really sheltering my son from playing house with anybody, right? And I'm proud of that. I've been divorced almost 7 years, so I'm obviously not in a rush.
Right.
However, now I think I've overcorrected because now he's like, why don't you have a boyfriend? And like, why are you always with me? I think now he's worried, like, Mom, get a life.
I know, but you know what's so cool is the right man is out there. He could be watching right now. How crazy is that? The right man is out there. And so I love that you're not settling. Not that you were before with the people you dated. I'm just saying you want the absolute best for you and your son. And so why not wait for that perfect person instead of having to wade through things you might not want to or need to.
Yeah, I like that. And I think, like I said, there's so many things about sheltering in place that is harder for single parents. But I think across the board, no matter what your situation is, we're all anxious, right? We all kind of want to read the last page of the book to make sure that we're going to be okay, right? Yes. So we're complying, which is great. Yes. We're flattening that curve, which is amazing. It's nice to see the nation and the world coming together for a like cause, as horrible as it is.
Yes, I agree.
But I also want to know, like, okay, I have my brain wrapped around getting my son through 5th grade and having him graduate elementary school. But if this goes past May, I don't know if I'm still going to have a good positive mindset.
I know. And so do you have a support system of other people in the same boat where you can bounce things off one another, have your own friend dates on the phone if you're not going on dates?
Yes. So I'm thankful for that, right? Like my sister is very good at wrangling the family members, my parents and my siblings, sending out that link to make sure we're doing those video calls once a week. And I've got another friend in a friend group who is the same way, really good at keeping in touch and saying, let's get together. So that's been a blessing. We're connecting and we're talking even more so now because we're seeing each other in video. So, there's a lot of things that we can talk about that are unsavory and not ideal during the shelter in place, but the connectivity that we receive in a different way, and I'm sure you agree, is very cool.
Yes. And it's richer, I feel like, in some ways, because we are missing it and we are needing that connection. It's to me, I feel like there's so many positives. It's a horrible situation, do not get me wrong. But I do feel like that connectivity is richer right now, and our senses are heightened in a lot of ways. So I think we're more receptive and more open. Granted, yes, we see the opposite as well, but that's obviously up to the individual and how they want to look at life. But if we're looking at it...
You know what I say, Dr. Mel? I bet this is what you'll agree with. I've been saying across the board, because you see in your friend groups, in your family groups, in work groups, everyone kind of handling it differently in their attitude. Everyone's different. I say, however you were, whatever your headspace was when you were captured, that's where you were at. So if you were ready physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you were lucky enough to kind of be ready already, you're at an advantage. But if you were already struggling in relationships, in money, in health, in finance, in any area, those are the people that we're seeing struggling the most.
You know, Amy, it's such a good point. I had a podcast yesterday that I said almost the exact same thing, where we're seeing people kind of panicked because, wait a minute, I don't have the tools. I'm not healthy and I don't know how to adjust to this, and I don't even know where to begin. Like, even alcohol intake is so much higher than it was before. People are trying to cope and they aren't having the tools to cope. And then you do have the people that are healthy, are able to cope, aren't too stressed because they had their house in order, for lack of a better word. And so they are able to adjust in a way that it's not the end of the world, right?
Right. Yeah,
I agree with
I see that a lot with my single friends who are used to dining out every meal and relied on just being out and different coping mechanisms to exist. When you remove so much of that, that's very hard for someone who, like you said, didn't have the tools before.
Right.
I'm
or
grateful
a support
that I'm
system,
in a good
right? You're Zooming with your family, and you know that one night a week they're going to be there. Where we have people that don't have that, and they are even more isolated and even more lonely. And if someone is watching that's feeling that way, I encourage you to reach out to someone, whether it's a coworker, a family member, because it's really unhealthy to isolate, especially when we don't know what to do or how to cope.
That's such an important message. Exactly. And sometimes it's when we need connection, human connection the most, is when we isolate, right? And it's like, because you can't get out of your own way because you're suffering, you're struggling. Mental health is, being tested on the healthiest person right now, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So last Thursday was my breakdown day. Have you had a breakdown day yet?
Yes.
Okay. So mine was last Thursday. We all need one. I might have another one, but I had to leave the house. I went on a jog. I did the ugly cry. I needed to get it all out. I wrestled with stuff. I was sad for 1 in 10 of people losing their jobs. I was sad about people having family members dying. I went through the whole gamut in my head. And I came back home and my son was like, "Mom, have you been crying?" I'm like, "I have been crying." "Why are you crying?" "Because I needed to. It's healthy to cry. It's okay for me to cry." And they're not used to seeing me cry, like the ugly cry, like I just need to get it all out. But we need to do that, right? We have to process what we're feeling.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it comes out of nowhere, right? Because sometimes we're plowing through, our adrenaline's running, we're in survival mode, and we're handling it, managing it, and anything or any sidetracked thought or moment, and then you're not okay. And for me, it was a moment that I was really feeling divorced as a single mom. My son wasn't here. I had quiet time, and that's when I was like, man, this is when I'm lonely. This is when I feel like I am a single mom. Usually I don't feel it. I don't feel that burden at all. But at that moment I did. And so that's where my breakdown came.
Was that last week?
Yes.
I feel like last week was the week. I've been here. I just talked to someone today. It was last week. Isn't that funny? Okay, so
maybe we were all breaking down at the same time.
I guess so. It was just like the pressure cooker. The lid just popped off.
Right. Yeah.
Now we're back.
It only lasts so long.
Yes, and we're adjusting. Okay, so going forward for you, how do you think your life as a single mom, working single mom, no more quarantine in the future, how do you think you will adjust, or how do you think this season has impacted you as a woman, as a mom, as a person, as a businesswoman?
I am really happy at my ability to pivot and to adjust. I've been able to still service my clients with solutions and coming to them and saying, I can do this and we can help in this way. I've even reduced my rates to kind of help everyone across the board. And that's a big deal, right? Not only think, how can I bless myself and make some money at this time, but how can it be a blessing to other people?
Yes.
Well, I can still deliver the work. We can still generate some revenue and, we'll save some money because I'm not traveling, and we'll save some money because I've cut my rate. So if you kind of think about, you have to put yourself in the equation, but then you remove yourself sometimes and think about everyone else as well. And how can we get everything moving forward? And I've been blessed. I've been able to, support local restaurants, support local businesses. I've surprised friends and sent dinner to their homes. And so that's cool, right? Like that's empowering that I'm in a position that I can do that.
I agree. I can only imagine what you're doing now to help other people, because that just oozes out of you as an individual anyway. Thank you for thinking outward and thinking about others. And I'm so proud of you. And I love that you're sharing. And I hope that whoever's watching, this is an inspiring little chit chat. And she's available for those that are ready to date after the quarantine is over.
That's great.
Thank you, Amy. I love you.
I love you. Thanks for some time well spent. This is a great way to spend a Friday.
Time well spent. Mwah.